Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Conversations with the Queen. The Queen, of course, being me, Stella Bowen, Queen of Glam Tarot. I have with me today Mr. Tarot by the Pines himself. I'm just going to call you, shall I call you Jason or shall I call you Mr. Pines? You tell me, darling.
You know what? You can call me Mr. Pines if you're nasty, but
Mr.
Jason is perfect.
Oh, well, gee, I love it, Mr. Pines, if you're nasty. How can you be? But the best part is we'll have the scent to cover the smell. So this is really not appropriate for kids. So if you have a child under 18 watching this, please take this away from them. Uh, well, Jason, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. You are
Course.
actually one of the contributing authors to my book, Read Like a Queen Real Life Insights to Slay Your Tarot Practice. And we're going to talk about the card that you chose to write on here in a second. For anybody who's watching this at home on YouTube, you've got a little hint behind him. But before we jump into it, Jason, tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Stella, and congrats on the book. I am so excited to be a part of this journey for you. And might I say, the cover of the book, fabulous. I love it.
Oh, the people at Red Feather, like they did such a great job, and of course this is artwork from my good friend Wick Arts. So big shout out to Wick Arts
Yeah,
on Instagram. They knocked it out of the park. I'm like it's
absolutely.
so beyond what I had even imagined.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, so my name is Tara by the Pines, but you can call me Jason. I dabbled into tarot quite a few years ago. I want to say I started in 2016. The reason I got into tarot was because a neighbor of mine was having like a housewarming event, and in all fabulousness, she hired a tarot reader to come welcome the guests in her home and to give them all a private tarot reading. And I thought it was just so fascinating and I was hooked. I was like, okay, I need to like look into this, what's going on with tarot and just to get into it. And from there on, I've been hooked and I started my little tarot tube YouTube channel, I want to say 2019, 2020. And I didn't have a teacher to teach me the cards. It was all self-learned, so self-taught. And I think that's really one of the best ways to learn tarot is all on your own because it's all
Mm,
about how you read the cards. And of
mm.
course, with my card that's in the book, it's definitely a card that I learned not only through reading about it, but also experiencing it. So I'm very excited to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think you make such a great point that, even if you do have a tarot teacher, so much of tarot is very, very personal and a very personal journey. And
Mhm.
I've come to realize, and because I've been reading since I was 14, so I've got, 30 years in the game. I will still discover new meanings. And that's the beauty of tarot, is that it's how the card shows up to you. And
Mhm.
there does get to be a point where you can have all the books. I'm not going to tell you how many books I've got on my bookshelf over here. Let's just say a lot on tarot, because I love to read. I love to read different people's perspectives on it and how they apply it and how it's applicable in different realms of life. But ultimately, there does get to be a point where you just have to have the courage to just strike it out on your own and say, I know this is what this card means, but right now this card speaks to me in this way, and trust it
Mhm.
because there's a reason that card is speaking to you in that way.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up books because when I first started in my tarot journey, I bought so many books, Stella,
Mm.
and the word is just too many. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need all them tarot books, but I did collect quite a few books and you can attest to this.
Mm-hmm.
Every card has so many meanings. It's all up to you how you want to read each card, and that's how you stick with that. How that's how you memorize the meaning of each card is what resonates with you.
Yeah. So many people, well, except for mine. Please buy my book. That's why we're doing this. So, but please buy my book.
Absolutely. Coming out September.
September, coming out September, but pre-order now. Pre-order where books are sold. So yeah, and so you kind of mentioned this, but how long have you been a tarot reader? About 10 years from what I heard, yeah?
Yeah, I want to say I was more serious about the cards in about 2019. So you're coming up on a decade in a few years, but I was first introduced to tarot about 9 years ago,
Got it.
2016.
Awesome. When now do you take on clientele? Do you read for other people, or are you a little bit more of a solo practitioner, use it more for yourself?
That is a great question. When I first started out, and I don't recommend this to anyone, when I first started getting into tarot, I was getting clientele.
Hmm.
And that's for me, I'm such a perfectionist. And when I read for people, I want it to make sense
Hmm.
for the querent.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of times it made sense, but I know there was quite a few that like, well, that's not really happening to me, or I don't resonate with it. So I took it a little personal. So I am
Hmm.
a perfectionist in that way. And at that time, I had two jobs on top of taking clientele. And as you know, reading cards is a lot of work in terms of like it takes your energy.
Yeah.
It's work. It's not just, you could just pull cards and have at it. You do put in some time and effort and your energy into reading the cards. So right now I am definitely solo. I
Hmm.
am living the best life being a solo reader because these past couple years now, I don't know if I can share this, but I've been experiencing tarot burnout where
Mm.
I haven't really picked up a tarot deck in quite a few years.
Hmm.
Um, so definitely a solo reader. And I really want to get back into it. That's why I kind of want to like get back into my YouTube channel and just talk about tarot because I do have a passion for tarot. It's just life happens. And
Yeah.
lately in this world, there's a lot going on. And I might have to pull out a tarot deck
Mhm.
to get more guidance and insight of how can I cope with what's going on in this world.
I think too, Jason, you bring up something that we don't often talk about as tarot readers. Yeah, there's a big energetic exchange that happens. It takes a lot of energy to stay focused, it takes a lot of energy to stay in that flow. It's
Mm.
exhilarating once you're in it, but it's almost like I akin it to running like a half marathon or a marathon. While you're on that course running, you're feeling it, you're focused, you're in such a wonderful state of being that you don't always notice what's happening to your body, and then you cross the finish line, and that's when the fatigue starts to run in. And
Yeah.
here in Orlando, there was a place where I used to do tarot readings. I would start at 7 o'clock p.m. and I would finish at 11, sometimes 11:30. And on top of on top of taking the time to make this happen, because this doesn't just happen. This isn't just like swipe off we go. No, this takes a little bit of time too, getting
Uh-huh.
to the venue, getting myself settled in, adjusting my energy to the area. I could go and go and go and go and go, and then at the end of the day, like I would just sit in my car. I'm like, wow, that was a lot because there wasn't time slots. It was just marathon reading, get done, get done, get done, get done, get done.
Mm.
But I still wanted to make sure that the clientele got the full experience as well. They weren't just getting a nice surface level, here you go on.
Right.
And yeah, I think tarot burnout it is such a, it's something that we don't often acknowledge because if we can experience burnout doing other things, tarot is definitely one of them. And I feel like for so many of us who, if this is our bread and butter, I'm lucky in that I have a day job and this doesn't have to be my primary motive,
Awesome.
primary source of income. But, if somebody that this is and they have that burnout, they're all of a sudden not just worried about, well, I can't give full readings like I used to. They're also losing out on income.
Right. Yeah, and the fact that, doing this as a part-time gig on top of your full-time, it's draining from both
Mhm.
ends. It's like a candle burning on both ends. At some point, you're just gonna be burnt out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I honestly think this is such a great segue into the card that you chose, which is the death card, as I hinted to earlier. What inspired you to choose the death card as your card to write on?
Absolutely. Just for a little background, I love the death card.
Mhm.
I know many people when they're getting read, they're like they really don't like the death card in their reading, which yes, it can be scary, but I've come to the point, especially in my own journey, to embrace whenever that card comes up because things happen and they happen for a reason.
Mm.
Um, and when I was getting into tarot of learning all the cards, I will say that the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, I don't know if you've seen that deck floating
I have,
around.
yes, I have indeed. So, on top of cards, I'm also on top of books, I'm also an avid card collector. I've actually had to slow myself down because I'm just like I ran out of space, and so yeah, no. But Modern Witch Tarot, I think, is such a great. It's a great. I don't know how you would call it, but I think it's a great modernization of the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's still the classic, you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, classic poses, but a much more modern representation.
The representation, and you can also identify with it. Like if you look at this card right here, the artwork is so stuffy to me. Like
Mhm.
it's just so bleh. So that's why I like more modernization decks. But
Yeah.
the death card is, like I said, it's a card that you should embrace when it comes up in your reading. Yes, it's going to be scary. It's going to signify change, but it's one that I've come to really embrace with open arms,
Mhm.
especially as I get older.
Well, and I think too, because I also had another conversation with Justin Towns, who run Devil Card, and I make it a point in my book to talk about the three ick cards,
Oh,
which
uh-huh.
are which are the Tower, Death, and the Devil. And Justin and I were talking about the Devil and how the card itself it has the visceral response, but in a way that is the gift of the visceral response, because with death especially, it is a part of the cycle of life. It is
Hmm.
an inevitability. And the death card does have this wonderful way of reminding us sometimes you do have to let things go. You do have to let things in. And I'm looking at the death card behind you here, and the beautiful thing is that behind, the whole thing, the sun is still rising. And it's just saying, with the sun still rising, it's just saying this is just a part of the process. And I like to talk about death. I put it in terms of a butterfly. The
Yeah.
caterpillar goes into its cocoon. It literally has to liquefy, and it doesn't just automatically sprout wings. It literally has to liquefy and die before it turns into the beautiful butterfly. And of course, as I say that, there's a butterfly that just flew across my back window, but how cool is but it is one of those things that's just like it is worth embracing because it's going to happen whether we want it to or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know if how much I could share of like what I put in the book.
Hmm.
But essentially I experienced unemployment very early in my college years. And when you're in
Hmm.
college or at any point when you're experiencing financial um, challenges, it's scary.
Yeah.
It brings an additional challenge of not only finding out who you are as a person, because during my college years, I found out, you know, who I was or who I am
Mhm.
today, experiencing with, sexuality and things like that. It's challenge on top of challenge. And
Yes.
that death card, it teaches you lessons early in
Hmm.
your life or whenever you experience it, and it makes you a better person you are today.
Yeah, and I feel too that like if nothing else, it teaches you to be more. It teaches you to be more human.
Hmm.
I think, and I want to say too for the people watching in death, we're using death as in a very overarching broad sense. It can mean death of somebody close to you, family member, dear friend, a partner, a husband or a wife. But death has other nuances and other overarching things to it too that to me it's just whatever causes you to grieve. So the place I was telling you about, where I was doing marathon readings and all of that, I was enjoying it. I loved it. Some things had happened where myself and the management of the company, we just didn't see eye to eye on things anymore. And I knew for my own betterment, it was time for me to step away because I'd been there for I think 4 years, 3, 4 years. I was loving it. It was just an extra thing I did in my day. And of course, the money was really good too, which was great. But then there was just a big misunderstanding or a big thing that happened, and I won't get into it because it's not really important, neither here nor there. But then I said, I know for my betterment, it's time for me to leave. Like that's just all there is to it. It's time for me to leave. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to go to other things. But I still had to grieve it. I was still grieving it because that was, in a way, a death. That was the death of a working relationship that I had cultivated and fostered over
Hmm.
4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a drastic change
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing things day to day and all of a sudden it just comes to a halt.
Yeah.
It's definitely a grieving point in your life when things happen like that. But yeah, all in all, I love the death card. I embrace it
Mhm.
whenever it comes because it does hold a special place in my heart when it comes to what I wrote in your book.
Have you found that your relationship with the death card has changed since writing on it? Has it become richer or fuller, or has it evolved in any sort of way?
Um, I don't think it's changed much, if any.
Hmm.
Um, as I said, I mean, the death card can mean so many things to other people. And I'm thankful that um, whenever I get that death card in a reading, it's not specifically to a family member, anything like that. It's always something about um, financial or relationships ending, and it doesn't have a scary impact. It never has that. It hasn't changed thus far, thankfully.
Have you found in readings, because this is something I've noticed as well, have you found in readings that as the death card comes up and you speak about whatever the situation or circumstance in the reading coming to an end, people
Mhm.
are actually already aware of it. Like, yeah, you know what? Yes, I knew this had to happen. I knew this had to come about, or I knew this was on the horizon. I've been avoiding it.
Absolutely. There's always an inkling that you have, and I always say this to trust your gut many of the times because it's trying to tell you something.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I love that you brought that question up. I always say trust your gut because it's usually never wrong.
Mhm. I mean but that's why we do what we do. We are in the business of trusting intuition.
Yeah,
That's what we do as card readers, as tarot readers. Um, I
absolutely.
I do want to take a quick moment to read a little bit of your excerpt here. It's just Red Feather did such a great job with this. I can't stop like showing it off. Like,
It's
and
beautiful.
this is my advanced copy. You can already see, like, I've carried it everywhere. It's getting kind of these. I have been showing this book off and using it and reading it and all of that. I love.
That's
So cool.
great.
So yep. So here's your entry right here. Can you see? I'm ducking down so I can
Oh
see it. Yep, Living
yeah.
Tarot, Death with Jason. I want to read just the very first couple of sentences of your entry,
Oh gosh.
because I think it's so good. It's so wonderful. So here we go. So, Living Tarot, Death with Jason. If you ask any person to name a few tarot cards they do not want to receive in a reading, the death card will be one of them. Naturally, we fear death because it's the end. However, when it comes to death in tarot, it's actually one of my favorites in a tarot deck. Whether it's seeing different illustrations from the artist's point of view to reading what the author interprets death as, it is a fascinating card to learn about. Living in a death moment or phase in one's life, however, not so much. And I think that that section right there, that just encapsulates the wonderful nuance and complexity of the death card, is that death can be beautiful and it can be release, but we also want to acknowledge that it's not always easy to go through it. It's not always an easy card to live through. And especially if you're when you're going through it, you won't see the beauty of the release most likely until you're on the other side.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm tearing up a little bit that you read that. It just brings back memories of me writing that story, and it just brings back uh the challenges that I encountered. And you'll just have to read the book and pick it up and read the story to figure out, to find out, my
Right.
journey with death.
Oh, and trust me, it is so worth the read. What I've absolutely loved about the collaboration with all the contributors to this book is they chose they chose some of them chose cards that I like. I think almost everybody, now that I think about it, everybody chose a card that I was not expecting them to choose, and it's so
Okay.
beautiful. And you write so eloquently on your experience with the death card, so I am so absolutely grateful that you said yes and you said, here's the card I want to take. And I was like, ooh, I've been avoiding this card, and I've been
Ah,
avoiding writing this card because from my own personal story, and I actually share this, is that as I was writing on each card, I was living it.
mm,
So there, a couple cards I was like, woohoo, all right, I'm in the Empress phase now, and I'd start writing on the Empress, or woohoo, I'm in the Lovers phase now, or but some of those challenging cards, Death and the Hierophant, which gave me gave me some struggles as well.
yeah.
But I there this was a card that I was actively avoiding because I knew I had to live the lesson of the card for me to accurately write on it. So
Mm,
your words are so elegant and eloquently written, and I'm just so grateful that you said, yeah, include me in on this, and I this is the
yeah.
card I want to write on. So
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Yeah, I really do hope people can find the release and the healing through your words, through purchasing my book.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, is there as we begin to wrap things up just a little bit, is there some advice that you would like to offer to readers as they go through their experience with the death card, as they are living through the lessons of release and rest and letting go with death? What like is there any advice you'd like to give them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest set of advice I have for someone who's experienced the death card in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't have to be anything that, I've talked about in the book, but it could be something else, is to accept the challenge and just go through it. Because,
Mm,
like you said, it is part of our cycle as humans to go through the death card in any way, shape, or form. Accept the challenge, go through it, and the next time you somehow get the death card in a reading, or if you draw it for yourself, is to just fully embrace it, because change doesn't have to be scary.
mhm.
It can be a life changing and formative moment within your chapter.
Awesome, awesome. And the beautiful thing is you never know you never know what's going to fill that gap once you
Mhm.
embrace the letting go. You never know what blessings are going to fill that gap. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, Jason, thank you again so much for your contribution to this book. It's
Of
so
course.
beautifully worded, and I'm so excited that this is out in the world and that your story and your experience with the death card is out in the world. Where can we find you?
Absolutely. I am on Instagram and I am on YouTube. I am Tarot by the Pines. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you happen to follow me on Instagram, it is a private account. So if you send me a message and let me know who you are, I'll definitely accept your follow because you never know these days. So many bots, so many bots.
Oh my gosh. So total sidebar story. There, I had actually gone through that just recently on Facebook on my personal account, not my business account, my personal account. Totally spoofs my name, like completely misspells my name first and foremost. I'm like,
Mm,
but if you're gonna
red flag.
a big old red flag, but like it was almost a direct copy of my personal Facebook account, and the person I'm like, I know we're not doing this. So I sent a friend request, and they friended me, and they were trying to sell me on a tarot reading, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
and I cannot tell you how much fun I had messing with them. I was just like, do you even realize that I am the person whose account you're trying to spoof?
Oof.
Like, did this not? And I honestly I almost gave up Facebook because the first couple of times I reported it, Facebook said they didn't find any violation, and I'm like,
What?
so of course my brain I'm like, you got some splaining to do, Lucy. You
Mhm.
got some splaining to do.
That
But I finally screenshotted it, posted it on my Facebook, and everybody was like, report it, like, and it finally got taken down. But I was just like, it was, and so you're very smart because especially in this day and age, it makes it very difficult to be a legit tarot business owner with a high moral code and ethics. So I'm also going to attest to I know our conversation feels kind of serious and all that. Jason's got so many wonderful insights and has such a fun, joyful spirit too. So give him a follow, please, because he's just such a wonderful person and such a. I don't know. I Tarot by the Pine sounds great to me. I will do tarot in the great outdoors as long as I'm surrounded by pine trees. I am so okay with that. And of course, I'm Queen of Glam Tarot, Stella Bohem. You can follow me on Instagram at Queen of Glam Tarot. You can also go to my website, queenofglamtarot.com, to book yourself a reading, read my blog, just see what I'm up to. It's going to be going through some updates soon. And of course, please pre-order my book because it is available for pre-order now wherever books are sold. Read like a queen, real life insights to slay your tarot practice. So please, you're getting all of this wonderful goodness, all of this wonderful knowledge, wisdom, stories, everything. Um, it's so wonderfully priced too. It's 19.99. I think it is such a great price point, and because some of them can be pretty pricey. So anyways, let me get off that soapbox. But Jason, it has been a joy speaking with you. Thank you for giving me some of your time today, and everybody else have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.